Hello everyone, I'm Marina and it's Sakramel School. I'm sure you have noticed that sometimes a base coat may sag on the natural nails. It's a material shrinkage. If you know what I mean, give a thumbs up. In this video, I will tell you why this may happen and how to avoid that. Let's get into it. Here are my model's nails. They are more than a month old. There are cracks on some nails in the growth points. Such cracks often appear when the nails grow, and there is more pressure on the free edge. If the stress zone is not strengthened well, the nails crack, so we need to strengthen them well. Besides, we can see that the base coat has sagged. It doesn't mean that a previous nail tag did something wrong. The coating could have been even. But with time, since the nail plate tends to bend naturally, rubber base coats stretch, and the coating shrink. Since the bonds between the gel molecules get longer. In this case, it happened due to the length, and using a rubber base coat, the one that bends. If we use a harder one on these nails, then we can avoid that. That's why it's so important to know all the base coat types and how to use them according to the nail plate type. But remember that if the nails are long, then we should use harder base coats. Later, I will show you the difference between rubber and hard base coats. And now let's prepare the nail plate for strengthening. I will do a manicure using a diamond flame drill bit. I clean out the pterygium, left sides in the forward position and right sides in the reverse position. I can see that there was a filing mistake. There are layers in the growth points. It indicates that a nail tag did not turn the finger when filing and didn't get to the growth points with the file. This mistake can also lead to cracks. So be careful filing the lower parallels in the almond shape to avoid this mistake. I can see a red area on the nail, which indicates that while processing the cuticle, the tag was filing not the skin, but the nail, and the nail got thinner and cracked. It also may have been caused by overfiling with a regular file. I cut the cuticle with a single cut. And here's one life hack that I've shown you before, but I will gladly show it once again. It's polishing the cuticle with a diamond drill bit, after moisturizing it with a hydrating toner. This method helps to remove even the tiniest hangnails, since it acts as a peeling. I apply a small amount, spread it, wait for it to dry a bit, and at the speed of 7,000 RPM in the reverse position, I polish the inner side of the cuticle and the nail fold. Done with the manicure, and now I degrease the nail plate and apply adhesive products. An acid-free primer that improves bonding. We can apply it only on the natural part, since I've left the base coat on the free edge to lift up the curved tips later. The primer has dried. Now I apply a rubber gel polish base coat in a thin layer. I don't cure it yet. I need to repair the nail first. For this, I will use this special fiberglass. or silk for nail repair. It is twisted fiberglass that covers up all the cracks and keeps them from getting bigger. So if I see such deep cracks and want to keep the length, then I repair them with fiberglass. I soak it with the base coat until it gets translucent and fix as well. I sand it to cure. I cover up the rest of the nails with a thin layer of a rubber base coat. We need it for good bonding, for amortizing the nail plate so that the coating could last longer. This way, next coating won't chip. I repair a crack on the thumb as well. Let's take a look at the base coat. The ones that have the words rubber or elastic in the title are rubbery and flexible. And the ones with the words hard or strong in the title are harder. To test your base coat plasticity, do the following test. Apply a thin aligning layer of a base coat over a glossy surface and sand it to cure. Take it out, let it cool down, and apply harder base coat. I'm using clear rubber one. And despite the word rubber in the title, this base coat is hard, according to my test. I wipe off the tacky layer, remove it from the paper, and bend it, trying to break. If it doesn't break or crack, then it's rubber. And the same effect will be on the nails. Harder base coats crack even before I remove them from the paper. We need to know that if we apply a thin layer of a hard base coat, it will easily crack. But a thick layer will be really hard. Hard base coats are like ice, since if it is thin, we can hardly walk on it. And vice versa, if it is thick, then we can easily walk on it. So sculpting systems and hard materials should be applied in a thicker layer, rather than a thin one. That's why I decided to strengthen these natural nails with a hard gel. It won't shrink or sag when the nails grow. Let's lift up the curved tip on the index nail. I will go in 2 steps. First, I put a drop on the free edge. Spread it to the center of the natural nail and sand it to cure. Next, I cover up the entire nail surface. Grab a bigger drop and put it on the highest point, the apex, and carefully spread it near the cuticle so as not to file it later. I pull the gel to the free edge and even out the surface. We can't do it in a no filing technique here, since that was a nail repair. There are bumps, and I will need to lift up the curved tip, so I will have to file. I keep the rest of the nails with this architecture, and just strengthen them with gel. While spreading gel, I always tilt the finger down, to make sure that there are no leaks, since every leak is a future lifting. To spread the material, I turn the nail over. And using a thin brush, I form the architecture and the highest point. And sand it to cure. I need to point out that such a thick gel layer can burn while curing. So inform your client not to tolerate it, since otherwise it may cause a nail plate burn or other negative consequences that we don't need. If the client's nails are sensitive, we'd better go in 2 steps and apply thinner layers or use low temperature gels, the ones that don't heat up that much during polymerization. I laid out the gel. Now wipe off the tacky layer and proceed with filing. I touch up the almond shape from the top view. Then I turn the finger, place the file under the nail, and lift up the curved tip. Make sure to check the tip and file in this position, lifting up the tip. I file the sidewalls and touch up all the bumps. The middle nail is growing sideways, so I need to fix this with the file. After filing, we can see all the extra volume from the inside. I will remove it using a cone-shaped carbide drill bit. The speed is 30,000 RPM. Forward position. I clean up the inner surface. I didn't file most of the nails, just touch them up a bit. I degrease and proceed with the design. For this, I will use such a pretty lavender pink gel polish shade. I leave a gap near the cuticle on the middle and ring nails to keep it natural, and apply 2 layers on the rest of the nails. To avoid licks, we can take a step back and then fill in this area with a thin brush. I apply a second layer on the middle and ring nails. After curing, I wipe the tacky layer off the nails with the design and measure the length I need. I'm using such thin stickers that follow the natural nail curve. I smooth them out using a silicone stick. I cut off all the excess for the sticker not to pop out. I want to add some black nail foil. I'm excited to try it out. To fix it, I apply some acid-free primer, since it is tacky. I apply the foil. It reminds me of a quail egg effect, but with bigger fragments. We can also use a quail egg effect top coat instead. I spread it randomly and press well. we decided to apply a matte top coat. And there happened an incident. As you can see, the top coat started to dissolve the foil. I wanted to remove it and do a new. But looking at it, I thought that this effect was even more interesting. Watercolor-like. Write in the comments if you think that it was the right choice. Our result. To sum up, I want to say that for long natural nails, we'd better use harder materials that won't cause that base coat shrinkage effect. If this video was useful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Success in your work! Good luck! Bye bye!